Hello everyone and welcome back to Wow Drama Stories. Let's get started. Story number 1. Opie writes, I, 27 female, am married to 28 male, let's call him Adam. My best friend Ashley, 28 female, not her real name, was coming to visit for 3 days from far away enough that she had to fly. Everything was going well, and then last night it went south very quickly. My husband had to get up at 6 a.m. for work. So he came out and said he was going to bed around 11 p.m. It seemed like he wanted me to come with him, but Ashley and I were doing a jigsaw puzzle together and we knew we would finish it in less than half an hour. I decided to stay out in the living room with her. For context, we have a 2-bedroom apartment, so not a lot of space. I told her I felt a little bit bad because I knew we would keep him awake. And she told me it was weird that he would care and thinks I'm being controlled by him. She said she's concerned that I have no autonomy. I tried to tell her that it's not her relationship and she doesn't need to worry about me. We finished the puzzle and went to bed. And when I got in bed, my husband was frustrated because we weren't being quiet and kept him up. I understood and said I would talk to her about it in the morning. Ashley and I also had to wake up early for her flight, and I was supposed to drive her to the airport. Well, I tried talking to her, and I told her that it made me uncomfortable that she said those things about my relationship, and I feel like she doesn't trust me. She just kept telling me that she thinks it's strange, that I feel controlled, and I tried to tell her I'm just respecting Adam. He had said to me last night that if I was emotional about the situation in the morning, he wanted me to call an Uber so I wouldn't be driving while mad/upset. For the record, I would be using his car because we only have one car. When I told her I would call an Uber, she thought that was more evidence of him controlling me because she thought he didn't trust me to make a decision about driving. It evolved quickly, and she said she felt disrespected as a guest and that she would never come back because she felt so uncomfortable. She kept insisting she didn't do anything wrong and was a great guest, which wasn't in dispute. The real kicker was that she started to tell me Adam is mentally abusing me. She said she saw it all weekend, that I was making decisions based on him. I have no idea what decisions she was referring to, but whatever. He left us alone pretty much all weekend and even came to pick us up from the bar because she didn't feel comfortable walking home. Not a great area of town. Anyway, after she basically started to say Adam was abusive, I screamed at her. Admittedly, I could have kept my cool, but I told her she can never talk about my husband that way and that it's not okay. She told me I was being irrational. Then I asked her what she would have done if I told her that her boyfriend is abusive. And she said she wouldn't care because she knows it isn't true. So clearly, she does think it's true for us based on one interaction. For more context, Ashley's boyfriend is a doormat and lets her do whatever she wants, even if it could bother or hurt him. She also has a weird complex about needing to be independent. So I told her she was confusing control with respect, but she refused to hear it. What do I do now? Obviously, I'm much more angry with her than with my husband, but I do want to know, is it bad that my husband thought we were being inconsiderate and told me as much? I'm siding with him, and if she decides to never come back, then so be it. I just don't understand why Ashley would act this way. One more thing I forgot. She said that it's unreasonable to expect a guest to accommodate your typical rules/life. Even if we had stayed up an extra 2 hours instead of half an hour, it still would have been okay in her mind. And also apparently she FaceTimed her boyfriend the night before this incident, and he told her he thought we had weirdly strict rules about when we go to bed. For whatever reason, she took that to heart. And here's Opie's update. I recognize that the context of my anxiety would have helped clear things up, but it was already a lot for one post. Basically, I get really uncomfortable when people are mad at me. So I actually chose to stay up with Ashley because I was worried way more about her being mad than my husband. I feel extremely secure in my relationship with my husband, although I shouldn't have to prove that to a bunch of Reddit strangers. Anyway, I texted Ashley and apologized for yelling. I asked her what my husband did over the weekend that would make her think he's controlling. I told her we thought she was a great guest up until that night and we never intended to make her feel uncomfortable. I told her that ultimately I want to fix our relationship, but I will choose my husband if it comes down to it. Her response, and I quote, "Because you don't respect yourself, you don't respect your guests," unquote. She said my husband was extremely disrespectful to her and treated her like she wasn't even a human being. She said she didn't think she could even call her boyfriend to say goodnight because it was like being in jail. She called my husband a petty crybaby. Then she said she doesn't want to be friends with someone who doesn't have dignity or respect for themselves, and that she no longer wants to be my friend. So yeah, F her. If she really thought I was being abused, this is not how she would have treated me. My husband is my rock, and he has been nothing but reasonable following this incident. I don't need that toxic high school BS in my life. I talked to 2 friends, numerous family members, and my therapist, and all confirmed that Ashley was 100% wrong. And trust me, if I was off base, my sister would have told me. I'm starting to believe that some people on the sub are either trolls or not married and wish they could be. For those who are married and / or commented on the original post to support me, thank you. Well, OP, you did make a very good point there when you said if she really thought you were being abused, then she wouldn't have acted in the way that she did. She would have been more concerned, supportive, and caring. Instead, she sounded very judgmental, very harsh, very condescending. So I'm going to believe you, OP, that your relationship is good with your husband and that your friend overstepped, and it really sounded like she expected you and your husband to fall in line with her and what she wanted to do while she was staying at your house as a guest. Yes, when you have guests, you bend some rules, you stay up a bit later or stuff like that, eat later, whatever. But a good guest would never expect the host to change their schedule completely to accommodate them. So your friend very much was in the wrong to expect that and to try and make you feel bad and say it's like a jail. And I can definitely understand why this friendship is now over. And on to story number 2. Opie writes, I, female 18, have a brother, male 26, who has terminal cancer. Ever since he got sick, my family has given me less attention, which is understandable. But now it feels like it's to the point where they don't care about me as much anymore. We have a family group chat. On my birthday, everybody asked how he was doing, instead of wishing me a happy birthday. My parents watch movies with him and spend time with him and never invite me. A few days ago, I got frustrated by the fact that I was feeling so left out and ignored that I told my mom about it. I told her I was feeling like a, quote, glass child, unquote. She called me disgusting and couldn't believe that I was, quote, jealous, unquote, of my brother with cancer. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. For clarification, I'm not jealous that my brother has cancer. To be honest, I'm not jealous at all. I simply used that word because it's the word my mom used to describe me. I spent time with my brother. We recently went on an overseas trip, just the 2 of us together. What I'm upset about is that my family doesn't put much of an effort to check in on me or spend time with me. I understand that he has limited time left and that they want to continue to spend time with him before he's gone. But still, don't I deserve love too? And here's Opie's update. First off, I would like to thank everyone for reaching out. I truly appreciate all of the links to support groups and such. I have a long page in my notes app where I saved all the links, LOL. Also, all the happy birthday wishes were so kind. Thank you. As an additional update to my situation, yesterday my dad reached out to have dinner with me. We went out to eat at a restaurant. The first thing he started talking about was my brother. He didn't ask me how I was doing or what my current interests were or anything, just reminded me that he was going to die. I got really upset and left for a little while because, once again, I felt like I didn't matter to my family. Later that day, I called my mom and explained to her how I was feeling. She told me that she understood and was sorry that I was feeling that way. She said she would try to include me more. So hopefully things will change and I won't feel so neglected in the future. OP, your family is going through something very, very stressful at the moment. When somebody in a family is terminally ill, everyone's life is thrown upside down. It's understandable that you feel neglected, that you're not getting attention, because let's face it, you're not getting attention right now. But you know that your parents, OP, they are not doing that deliberately. They are consumed right now by the fact that their son will soon be passing away, which is why they're not only spending as much time with him as possible, but why they're also talking about him even when they're not with him. What's happening to him, to the family, is constantly on their minds. I think it's one of those things that they can't stop thinking about, even if they try. Your brother's illness impacts everyone in the family and in different ways. I'm glad that your mother listened to you the second time you talked to her about it, and that she's going to try to include you more. Maybe sometimes, OP, you're going to have to remind her to include you. Because right now your parents are so focused on what's happening to the family, to your brother, that it's easy for them to forget or to miss things. So rather, instead of getting upset about it, try to help them remember that you're here too and you want to be included and that you also have things that you want to share with them. This is just so difficult for everyone, OP. I don't see anybody here really at fault. It's just people, just a family trying to deal with something very traumatic that they're going through at the moment. And I'm very sorry that you are dealing with this, OP. And I can only wish you and your family the best as you navigate your way through all of this. And let's get to story number 3. OP writes, someone told me to post in here. Okay, so I went out of town this weekend. My roommate had her mom, her mom's friend, and her brother over. They slept on the couch while I was there. I left for a day and locked my room like I always do because I don't want anyone in my room. I come back home and walk in my room and realize it's unlocked. I ask her why it's unlocked, and she says her mom's friend slept in my bed. I feel disrespected. Obviously, if I lock my room, I clearly don't want anyone in it. And she didn't even bother to ask or tell me. My roommate flipped out on me and said I should have offered. First of all, I pay rent to have my own personal space. I don't want other people in my room or on my bed when I'm not home. And second of all, her mom has disrespected me in the past. So I'm not too fond of her, but I am still nice, but not enough to let her sleep in my bed. If they want a bed, they can get a hotel, right? Am I overreacting, or am I actually the a-hole? And here's OP's update. Thank you for all the ideas. I just put a new doorknob to where I need an actual key instead of just a basic screwdriver. My door before was just a basic door, where you just need a screwdriver or even bobby pin. This should prevent anyone from getting in now, even though I shouldn't need to take this measure in my own apartment. Also, no, she didn't wash the sheets after, and my lease is up in August. If I wanted to leave, it would be a ton of fees. If not, I might even have to pay the rest of the rent, since I'm the head of the household. I will also not be living with her after this lease is up. Well, OP, you are absolutely right. It was disrespectful. Why didn't they ask you? I guess because they knew your answer would be no, but that doesn't make it okay to go into your locked bedroom and to have somebody else sleep in your bed. That was a boundary that was crossed. I understand why you are unhappy about that. And yes, OP, move out or have her move out, but this arrangement, it's not working. Well, that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me, for allowing me to read these stories to you. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment, consider subscribing, And I look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care of yourself, everyone. Bye.